Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, Twitch chat. Welcome back to Let Us Play. I'm your host, Father Evan. It's good to be with y'all today. Good to see Ariam Legend. Good to see a Gale. Good to see a Bad Rocks. Good to see a Brayherd. Good to see a Step Zero. Good to see a Kit. Good to see a Quacksplat. And Ariam Legend, congratulations. You have won the crown of Firstendom, the crown of apparently emotes, because Quacksplat has asked that it be emote only chat for a bit. So it is. I have a button to do that now. I don't have to go to my mouse and be like, click here, activate here. Nope, I got one button. I love having a stream deck. It's so much fun. But it's good to be with y'all today. Yes, we are going to be playing Spider Lighthouse, also known as Keeper. It's not like super. It does have an arachnophobia warning, but I don't think it's really that necessary. I played a little bit and it looks fine. It has kind of bug legs. There's a long cat. But yeah, so I'm excited about this game because I think it's an interesting concept and there's no words in it. So kind of fitting that we're in emote only chat. So yeah, we have long cat. Anyway, let's go ahead. Let's dive on into it. The ambiance. Yes, I'm fine with the new save. Oh no, the cat has gotten longer and has a sword for a tail. Wow, there's a lot of bugs. That bird has arms. It went to sleep real easily. Must have been exhausted. I do really like this game's art style. I think it's very creative and interesting. Uh-huh. Are you I was wondering if he was going to nibble on it, because that's a thing birds do. Lean one way. And lean the other. Oh, I'm going down. I'm yelling timber. Behold, our hero. Hey, K-Max. Yes. Not your finest hour, but you know, you're learning to walk, so. Hey, Scruffy. What was yours? It's okay. I only have a few Ossifer. I'm going to drive. Remember, don't drink and drive with your lighthouse. 2 steps. We took 2 steps. Well, I think the trees are a barrier. Oh, this... Oh, I'm sorry, house. Oh, no. This is, This is really good and interesting control work, actually. Oh, Quacksplat wants a mod poll. Gale Sub-Zero, you wanna... Or Brayherd, one of you wanna make a poll? Can you do that in... I guess you can do that in emote-only chat. Come on, Lighthouse, we can do this. It's gotta be okay. Oh, no. Oh, you're okay. No, oh, no, you're leaning too... No, no. Oh, no. Oh, there's... Swarm of bugs. Bird friend, you brought me to life. Ow. I will save you from the bug menace. Best candy type. Ooh. Are pine cones on that list? They should not be. Hey, I'm figuring out my stride. Make my way downtown. Do. Whatever this green crystal is, there sure is a lot of it. I like that modification you've made there, Gale. Pardon? Giant land snail? It's got legs? Well, it looks harmless. Yeah, I'll bring y'all out of emote only. You may speak freely! Bird, can you explain some things to me? I'm brand new to this world. Trying to construct narratives with the emojis. Yeah, I believe you, but also I couldn't pay attention enough. That was pretty good for these little stubby legs. Oh, I'm so sorry, houses. Oh no. The game is a little Dolly-esque, isn't it? Wobbly house. Hey, Mel. Wobblite house. Sad face in your own idea. Mechanic, cozy, happy face. You can still post the emojis. I haven't taken that away. Go home, Lighthouse. You're drunk. Oh, he was already tumbling all over the place. Fall down. Is that my mother? Is that the mother of lighthouses? You've had more margarita. Ah, well, you are American. Hey, Craig. You are an American celebrating a particular victory that was undone later in the war, but... And Sub-Zero has chosen... Oh, Arium has redeemed Emote only. Back to the emotes. Back, I say. Those roots went away. But check it out. You can see the lines like on the lens. It's so cool. Whoa. What are we looking at? What? There's more giant land snail things out there. Yeah, there's another one right there. I hope they're friendly. They've been so far. Sour chewy candy is the best. Okay, so Sour Patch Kids. Easy. Easy. This game is very pretty. It's not often you get a post-apocalyptic world that's... No! And I love how expressive, like, right there, you can tell sort of the sense of fear, like, oh no! In a lighthouse. No sad salts? This game makes you sad, is that it? Is that Onomi shoes? Ah! Ow. My lighthouse back. Oh, hi there, materializing beehive eye. How are you? This world is very Seussian. Twig emote. Uh-oh, Quackspot's redeemed a candy spin. Survey says... Whoa. That was very close to a Barnett's Mega Sour. That being said, a cinnamon pastille is still a lot of flavor. It's like the cinnamon challenge, but without the powder. Hello, I think I learned the twig emote. Rota. Hold on, let me... Why did Xbox Game Bar appear on my streaming PC for no particular reason? X. Bird action. Bird up. I don't know. Anyway, Rota, today I had Mass with the sisters. In the gospel, Jesus is telling his disciples, I give you peace not as the world gives it, but as I give it. And I contrasted that with the fact that it's Cinco de Mayo and they're all from Mexico. And so they know it more as the historical reality of, you know, celebrating the end of a battle and a victory, which itself is a kind of peace, but is a peace won through violence. And that is not the kind of peace that Christ gives us, and not the kind of peace that Christ challenges us to live out. And apparently I can swim. Oh, we had a meat mask. We got white. I'm guessing by the emotes I'm seeing. I didn't see where he was. What? No. No, bad bugs. Oh. There's a lot of cinnamon. It's not like spicy, but it does kind of like burn. Thanks. Oh, apparently thanks. That actually made me more powerful. I don't know what's powering me. But now I have power light. And Jay, it was said unto them, the lighthouse has power light. Dr. Pepper emote? Oh, I feel like that's something my boss needs. Wait a minute, we've seen this mountain before. This is the same mountain as in Kena. Oh, sorry. Sorry, future fossils. Oh! Oh! The bird's name is Twig. So Twig emote, I thought Twig emote meant make an emote about a twig. No. It's press that button to make Twig the bird emote. Tweet, tweet. Wait a minute, those are words. Does it help? Does it help if I shine this light directly in your eyes? Oh no! No, you fossilized! Words. I have them for breakfast every day. Moving like a drunk pirate. No, that's giving this thing too much credit. Ah, spider. Can hermit crabs get drunk? I don't know. I'm not a crab biologist. Speaking of crabs. What, have I tried getting hermit crabs drunk? No, I haven't. Can Mr. Krabs get drunk? Yeah, it's a secret episode of SpongeBob, not released to the public. Making all the trees grow, yeah, yeah. Well, time to find a way to make a bridge. Which I have a feeling is down this other path I didn't go. I like that you do have 360 control of the lighthouse. I don't think it's 360 that's usually accompanied with blazing of things, but, you know. I'd be wrong. Gale has redeemed emote only. It's the third emote only today. Oh, hello. This game has a very ethereal art style. Like, with the way those blocks just kind of phase into existence. Yes, I'm sure entering the giant rock shaped like skull that's gonna close behind me is fine. I know, I asked for no shrooms, and what do they give me? They give me so many mushrooms in this game. I can't do anything about them. Bye, Step Zero. I like the back-to-back flabbergasted. It's mushrooms to the left of me, mushrooms to the right of me, mushrooms behind me, mushrooms before me. It's the march of the Mushroom Brigade. And I hate it. Begone, evil weevils. Yeah, it looks like a safe bridge for a lighthouse like me. Twig, go get it. Let's go, boy. Hey, there's an eye in that mountain that wasn't there before. Again. Are we going to become the eye? Are we ascending? Is that it? Like, we're going up the mountain, so we are literally ascending, but are we metaphorically ascending while we're ascending? Is this secretly a sequel to Peak? Whatever it was covered in blue, but I don't need to worry about it. Oh, good, I'm emerging from another skull. You know, just your average morning commute. How was the skull-to-skull traffic today, honey? Oh, it was abysmal. There were evil bugs everywhere. Yeah, you guys, are you befriending Twig? Well, I don't know what I did, but I did a thing. Okay, again, Xbox Game Bar. I don't know why you're acting. You're not supposed to be, and I don't know what it's reacting to. I'm literally playing on a physically separate PC. And what's obnoxious is it sits like right in the middle of chat. Knock, knock. It's a lighthouse. Take a little bath. That's too cute. I don't get what hermit crab gets in the bottom of a lighthouse. Why? I don't think it's a hermit crab. Like we saw at the beginning, it was like magical powers that drew limbs and or twigs and stones and things to make its legs. Giant magic crab, but without claws. Like Baba Yaga in her chicken leg house. Go get it, Twig. Chicken triggered it. Because it thought you were, like, being mean, like, oh, you're a chicken. Bark! Okay, now why did that get censored? Just on, like, general principle. KMXN is a weird sentence. It's a parsnip creature. I'm in the land of the parsnip people. I come in peace. Contain more chicken malice. Well, this one is not afraid. They do have a lot of eyes, but you know, I understand that root vegetables tend to grow eyes if you leave them in a cupboard for a while. I stunned it. I guess this game kind of qualifies as a walking simulator, doesn't it? Also, those music samples are being played backwards. I'm okay with it being a walking sim. Twig, help me out. We're helping out the parsnip bird. Bro, you didn't even need all that. You threw it to the side. Hello, crabs. I bring you the gift of light. Would you like light? No, why are you taking... Oh, okay. We just need to steal its egg. Yeah, I was playing Aria of Sorrow. Hello, tree person. Sorry, I only know how to communicate with my light, which means I have to shine it directly in your face. Ooh. they're giving me choices. Yeah, it was the Switch port of it, but yeah, it's a GBA game originally. If I haven't played any of GBA or DS, would that be a good start? Yeah. No, that's a great Game Boy. Honestly, all three of the Game Boy Castlevanias are great. What do your bird eyes see? Oh, we're feeding another parsnip bird thing. This is Wispy Woods, apparently, but it's friendly. Kirby's already come through and defeated it. Aha! Hippie Tony. If you can pay to make a walk, I guess that would count as a lighthouse. Ah. I have blue thing. I think that's its eye. I was correct. Do you know what you're doing? I think vibing is generally the answer. I see another blue crystal thing. And now it's stuck. Other is entertaining me personally. A couple other people are along for the ride. Ah, I am your court jester, apparently. Then I'd like to just talk to you about my wages and discuss a raise. You're the main character? I don't know. Have you met Gale? Get stunned. Now there are 3 of you. Can 3 of you get this thing for me out of the ice? You have 3 legs. This looks like a melatonin dream. I don't think I've ever had enough melatonin to have a, quote, melatonin dream, so I'll take your word for it. I got the crystal, yes I did. Take 5 milligrams. I think I'll pass unless directed by my physician. Thank you, Treebeard. Ah, yes. An underground tunnel, the natural home of a lighthouse. Neither good nor bad, just too vivid. Oh, okay. Well, I think I'll still probably pass on that, unless I have to. Oh, I just realized something. Look at the windows on the lighthouse. The staircase on the inside is counterclockwise. Just a little detail. Wait, what? Yeah, look at the windows. See how they line up along a diagonal? That implies kind of a staircase underneath them going counterclockwise. Giant gears? Is this game now steampunk? You're not real. I feel like I could narrate this in a Werner Herzog or, well, who's the David Attenborough style? Like, here we see the symbiotic relationship between the bird, twig, and the lighthouse. One protects the other from predators. And the first. That's a whole statue. That's an interesting design. Begone from my visage, you illusion. What is going on in this world? Or I suppose, what went on in this world? A lot of there were hands. Hold on. These grasses look like hands. This is just the childhood home of Salvador Dali. I like Dali's Last Supper. I actually like quite a bit of Dali, but... What way am I supposed to wind this? Oh yeah, Dolly actually does have a lot of really interesting ideas. He also has a lot of interesting stuff psychologically going on, but he does. He does have some very interesting faith pieces. Like I said, his Last Supper is actually quite striking. If I look around, I can find other handles or something to turn the other ones. Oh, that. That's a lot of bugs. Hey, we got a handle. I guess you could say I got a handle on this situation. Okay, so there's nothing in that other one, I guess. Because the camera will not let me see it. Is that the sound from The Grudge? I wouldn't know. I don't watch horror movies. Okay. He's grudging out. That sounds like something you'd say in a fighting game. Okay, so this one looks like a tree root, so I'm gonna put it like that. Then this one honestly looks like the umbilicum that the Vatican uses when there's no pope. I don't know what to do about seaweed here. Although that kind of looks like what we saw back here, where we picked up the second handle. Oh, hello. That looks like the top one. So maybe have it pointing down? Is what it's kind of looking like. If you're just walking lighthouse, can't you walk through doors? Well, no, that would be rude. Okay, so it looks like kind of like the base pointed to the right there. Kind of looks like that. And then this one, based on the image we saw in the cave. It's more like that. So then what, do I just rotate this one until I get its correct position? I'm worried that the hint on this one is in that one cave that we can't even see clearly anymore. And unfortunately, this game does not allow you to change the camera. It's more when it feels like it. Okay, so this one doesn't feel like a hint of any sort. Yeah, so that's like the umbrella point down. This is a little frustrating. See, I feel like I should be able to look through here to see one, but because I can see that in the other room as well, the other side of it in the other room. I feel like I am right there. Also, this door appears to have corkscrews as its locks, which is kind of cool. See, I feel like I have the right idea. It's just a matter of execution, and I feel like the game isn't giving me the opportunity to revisit. I am the door. No, but tomorrow we get a great moment when Jesus does declare that he is in fact God. He says, I am divine, you are deep branches. Okay, I'm gonna just try and find this answer. Makes an S shape from top to bottom. This would be lovely if they gave like a screenshot. I wonder, so each of these does have like a point that's somewhat like golden or like more brushed. I wonder if those are just supposed to all point to the eye. Yep, that was the solution. Corkscrew door. How cool would it be to have your front door opened by corkscrew? We have entered the Nega realm, apparently. Save me, Twig! No! Are you gonna come look for me, Twig? Or are you abandoning me? Uh-oh. No, no, no. I need my light. No, panic, panic, panic. What is a lighthouse without its light? Just a house. Oh, look at me. I'm all sad and hunched over. There's lots of feathers in those pools. Like feathers like twigs. Oh! Replacement? Can I take you? No? Oh. Actually, hold on. That's a pretty good screenshot. More like a lighthouse. Oh. Got him. Fear me, bugs. I'm the bringer of the light. I just don't feel like it right now. Yeah, agree. Oh, what is going on in the background? That's not right. Let's try and leave this place as quickly as possible. Lest the Eldritch Nightmare get to us. You know, I can confidently say I never anticipated seeing a dream sequence of a lighthouse. Like, maybe dream sequence that involves a lighthouse, but like, of a lighthouse? Nope. Oh, the Eldritch Abominations are getting bigger. I see a way out. Didn't realize lighthouses protect us from Eldritch Horror? Yeah. Except they don't work that well because a lot of bad stuff happens in Maine, according to Stephen King. A lot of it involving Eldritch Horrors. Again, counterclockwise. Do I always trust Stephen King? Life is simpler that way. That's probably for the best. I'm still never going to go to Derry. It just seems like a wise choice. Some lighthouse recursion. Just counterclockwise, you use the blue deck? Yes. I mean, yeah, I guess. There's nothing stopping from people from Because the whole idea of the tonsure is it's a symbol of humility, so it's not necessarily like it became a symbol of clerical orders, but in and of itself is so yeah. If someone wants to is a symbol of humility, they are more than welcome to. I wouldn't do it in winter. Just personal recommendation. It seems like it would be pretty cold. Dude, you're destroying your nest. Yes, I understand to focus my light. I'm just not in the position. I've actually known some college students, like I've seen online, they've done the tonsure haircut as like a fundraiser. Okay, stone is reversing time. Just normal things for a lighthouse. Oh, and we're advancing time. And we're reversing time. Oh, it's gay trippy. You know, like guys who develop the tonsure naturally. Well, that's fair. No, I don't want to descend to the pits again. Come on, Twig. Come on, Twig. Come on, Twig. Yeah! Lighthouse and bird. Best friends 5 ever. This is just a reskin of Jack and Daxter. Hey, no, wait. What? What? Okay. So I'm going to need to find 2 others. Banjo-Kazooie. Peter, respectfully. What? I thought it was called Mist. There are some miselements. How does one know their vocation? Well, that's in some way there's no there are limits, of course, because of our humanness, but there can be good certainty of one's vocation, and it comes with prayer and reflection and, you know, trial periods as best you can. That's why with dating or with marriage you date. That's why with priesthood there's seminary. And ultimately, it's finding that. Pause weirdly. It's about finding that space of inner peace in prayer and knowing this is where you're best called to love and serve God, and to know His love and to share it joyfully. So, good ways to do that are with spiritual direction, having someone to walk with you as you figure out these questions. Vocations directors, that's literally their job, is to help people figure out what is their vocation. You know, we often think of vocation directors as just for, oh, sign up for this order or sign up for this dice. It's like, no. Ultimately, if you go to a particular order, the vocation director isn't there trying to say, oh, we need to get you in the doors as quick as possible. Their job is to say, where are you called to serve God? And that's something where you have to pay attention to inner voices and outer voices, you know? So... Well, I have played Myst on stream. And Riven. Oh, there's... Oh, my goodness. What's this game about? This game is about bringing light to a world. We are a lighthouse that suddenly came alive, and that's about it. I thought they reported Myst to VR. Maybe that was a fan project. I would totally play Myst and Riven in VR. That would be awesome. Yeah, look, it's a whole city, and it's not, like, demolished. Oh. Oh, dear. Oh, that's what's causing the time weirdness and the people who live here. Oh, no! Excuse me, good sir. You appear to have experienced a catastrophic malfunction. Oh no! We just turned our friend into an egg. Help! Need to return to present time. My friend, stop being an egg. Okay, back to being bird. But I wanted to play this game for Spirituality Tuesday in particular because, oh, look at the little painter. It looks interesting and kind of really beautiful and really abstract, but the whole premise is bringing light to the world, and I think there's something beautiful about that as the core mechanic of a game. Lighthouse versus Time House. But, you know, there's this game, as far as I can tell, and I mean, you know, having played it for a bit, it's a more hopeful game than others. Great star. Actually, we're gonna need you to rotate. Oh, there's only so many gears on this. That's... Oh, that's cool. Okay, I get how this puzzle works. Okay, I'm a little disappointed that you can't rotate the gear past where there are teeth, but... still. Nice little puzzle. Bird friend, bird up. Oh, look, there's a mural of Time Friend. Okay, you're gonna make me do a sliding puzzle. Is that it? Hey? Oh, whoops. Wrong button. Bring the moon to here. So I can then sneak dawn past, and then midday past. I feel like this is a classic video game puzzle. Brother dawn, brother day, brother dusk. Sister death. She recognized until I said something. Oh dear. Well, we know Peter's not going to win the race in this game then. Look at all the murals they've drawn. Oh. Oh, that, no. No. Sun, half sun, and moon. IDK what you want. Oh dear. You gonna come paint, or are you just gonna stare into the void again? Probably need to activate this. Get back. Sorry, bird friend. You must become egg. Oh look, there are helpful signs. Dawn is this way. Midday is that way, but we've already done the midday one. But I think I'm gonna have to change time to midday, or to the early morning to get past that bridge. It's Van Gogh back to being an egg. Okay, but if I do this, there's no bridge. So is there another way around here? Because there was like the thing saying like, oh, you can go this way. Yes, but the door is closed and also not me-sized. Here's a joke for you, Peter, that you'll appreciate. Why couldn't the Impressionists... Go away. Why couldn't the Impressionists make it to the art exhibition? They didn't have enough Degas for... Or they didn't have enough Monet for Degas to make the Van Gogh. I'm laughing, by the way. That hurts me profoundly. Laughing because you're hurting because you're laughing too hard, or more existentially hurting. I just need to know for field testing. Existentially. Okay, good. What is your particular preference? I plead the fifth. What if we make it nighttime? Oh no! I'm sorry, Trig. I didn't mean to make you a ghost. Sir. It's okay, he's back. I might need to do that to get to the other area. You confirmed, Fred. I didn't. It was Tempest Fugit. I just found a way to speed up the Fugit. I will give you power to go through walls. It might hurt a bit. He'll be fine. He likes being a ghost. His eyes glow. Oh, okay, we're going this way. No, we're going this way, apparently. Oh, controlling this is weird. It's a planetary gear. Chat is planetary gear? Chat does rotate a lot. And is usually caught between two things. Looks like something that would make me turn the game off. Oh, no, if you played Myst, you've played worse puzzles. Or not worse, but more painful. Chat is weird and rotates. Planetary gear is weird. Control and rotates a lot. See, chat is planetary gear. Too much chat. Wow. See, this is where chat becomes planetary gears. What? Oh. You gotta do it in this way, okay. Rude. I'm so happy that Dr. Nigel is still an emote for you, Peter. Okay, so now we have to figure out how to get to the midday section. Which we have to do in the morning. But the problem is... There's the gear. Okay. So now I should be able to turn Bird Friend into Egg. Sure, I can balance an egg on my head, but a pile of bones? No. Are you mementoing your Morais over there? Get egged. What is that emote? Of course it's Gigaboots. before I turn you into an egg, let's find out what that does. Ah. See? I would have turned you into an egg too early. I have a bad feeling about putting an egg in the middle of a gear. Okay, no, it's just gonna become the tooth of the gear. That's a perfectly normal thing for an egg to do. Silence. It is broken. Silence. Mime stream? Imagine trying to do a mime stream with gaming. Like, actually keeping it silent the entire time. Slay the Spire? No, I don't really... I don't know. I respect Slay the Spire, but it just never really clicked for me. We're going TCB, TCG, GB, Bulbasaur. This is the only one. Too bad you have 2 Blastoises. Well, there you go. Pokemon TCG, GB be like that. Now, the roguelike card game I've been playing a lot of is Vampire Crawlers. It's a fun game. It's not a very hard game, but it's fun. It's all just oops storm. It's how many times can you play your deck in a single round? And it's fun. I like it. Time to wind up the weird time machine man in the middle of town. Belonging? It sounds familiar, but I have not played it or really looked into it. Hey, look at that. It's undoing all the bad stuff that's happening in its town. And not turning us into egg. Aw, we got a little badge. We're an honorary member of the town, of the Clockwork Town. Thank you, my little gear friends. That was very kind of you. I am happy to help. But I must continue on my journey to become part of the mountain. Hello, dancing flowers. I give you light. They did a great job creating such an alien world that also does feel quite familiar, but you know, you got things like this, and it's like, what is it? And I like that they don't feel like they need to give an explanation, because they don't. You know, I appreciate that some games have really rich lore, and that is a good thing, but not every game needs that level of lore. Sometimes it could just be mystery. What about his brother, B4? Some of the poorest foreshadowing I've ever seen. I was a kid when I watched it, and I was like, oh, okay. What's up, little rock dudes? You don't talk about Star Trek Nemesis? The one where they Star Trek on ATVs? But no, I think that's something, you know, culturally, we live in a very information-saturated world now, and in many ways that is a good thing, but, you know, how many game theory kind of video things are there out there where they're like, oh, we have to give a name to everything and explain everything, and it's never just allowed to be a mystery to be experienced. Oh, look, there's the little clockwork town down there. This is actually a good spot to be a lighthouse. Why are you destroying all the nests? That could have been someone's nest. Again! No, stop it! Mad Twig, you don't need to destroy every nest you see. Twig! Twig woke up and chose violence. Okay, you can violence this one because the game requires it. Oh, no, you're going to sleep in this one. Oh, okay. Is this the Goldilocks nest? I just noticed that my lighthouse has eyebrows. Oh, Twig is a mother. You still didn't have to destroy all those other nests. You could have gone, yeah, this isn't the one for me. I love how there's all these little things in the world that interact with your light. It makes the world feel very alive. Oh, we just changed time and we now have a chick. Okay, it's like a trio of the time-changing dudes. See? See the little chick head? Time Warp Trio. Well, we can do it again. Sky jellyfish. There's one of dawn, one of day, and one of dusk. Egg. Okay, so I'm gonna need to keep an eye out for a handle, because that clearly looks like an interactable spot. Hey, look, a handle. No. Other way, there we go. Country Bridge, take me home to the weird time travel place. Oh, that's not a chick. That's just the top of the lighthouse sticking through. Okay. They look like a little chick, which would make sense given the time warp mechanics. But nope, they're still just an egg. Aha. Final grade just posted. And how'd it go? Did it go good? I hope it went good. Hey, the real chicks were the extremities of lighthouses we went along the way. Oh, it's a weird thought. I forgot where they draw the line between A- and A, but I think I'm on the A side. A, let's go. That's awesome. Congrats. I mean, even if you're on the A- side, that's still pretty damn good. Okay. So all three of them move at dawn. At dusk, only this one moves. So that one's lined up. Now we can line up the blue one, then we can line up the green one. Puzzle? Who has time for this? Mods, don't ban him, but get him. That's a very merciful just. Yes, because that's what we know Twitch chat for. Time out for 1 second. Well played, Gale. Well played. Don't worry, this is just part of your comeback arc. It's that's what happens when you have main hero energy, right? I'm pink and fluffy now. I'm cotton candy. Oh, my lighthouse has allergies. Oh dear. My lighthouse. What do you mean jump? There's a dragon in the sky. I think this is a Field of Poppies situation. Sky whale shrimp. Oh. Oh, I can... if I hold A, I kind of float. Scrimp. Throw another scrimp on the Barbie. Okay, so water doesn't wash it off. That's kind of good to know. What do you want me to focus my light on? Oh. Oh. Like Mom always said, cotton candy is forever. I don't think Mom said that. I think you're thinking bubblegum. Cotton candy is famous for being the opposite of fleeting. Mm-hmm. It's like those videos of raccoons who are given cotton candy and they go to wash it because that's the thing raccoons do is wash the food they eat. This is incredibly floaty when you jump, and it's fitting, but it's still weird. Here, Peter, his box of cotton candy has been handed down for generations. And cotton candy is still in there because cotton candy is forever. Don't open it. Oh. Oh, Peter. I mean, unless it's an airtight box with a well, if it's a vacuum, it may even collapse. But moisture will get in there. And guess what cotton candy loves? It was a soggy box. My friends sometimes call it the aquarium. Did it come from Schrodinger's? Oh, there's just a handle in there. What? Why couldn't I target it earlier? Get up there! Boing. And we're up there. Oh no, there's wind. Wind is going to be a problem for my floatiness. I am the world's lightest lighthouse. All other lighthouses tremble before how light I am. Hello, Scrimp. Wind lights you up, winds you up. No, it's a game about lighthouses, not windmills. Hey, Britt. Hey, it's all good. Yeet! No, it forced me down here when I wasn't ready. Where's been a hot mess? I'm sorry. I hope things are calming down. Hope the job search continue. Hope the job search is going well. Okay, there's a lot of wind animation, but it does not really push me that far. No! That jet of cotton candy wasn't quite high enough. Quickly, bird. Yeah, let's go, Twig. Oh. Woof. Well, I'm glad that things are looking to be better, though. No, we missed the window. Messy stuff sells. Yeah. Maybe like that. Open the door. Stop having it be closed. It's a pretty tree. Well, I think that's a good place to call it because it's time to call it, and also it's a nice transition point. So thanks so much for tuning in to Let Us Play. I've been your host, Father Evan. It's been good to be with y'all today, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Join us again tomorrow for Minecraft. Starting a new project. Don't know what it is yet. Thursday, we are playing Super Solvers Think. So that'll be fun. Monday, Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind, and Tuesday, more Keeper. And this Friday, I'm on Game of Favorites. So I'll be broadcasting that on my channel, or you can check it out on Peter's. So I hope you have a great rest of your day. And let's see who's live that we can raid into. Gonna throw you on over to Brosif Lacask, the Space Crusader VTuber. Fun guy. He's playing Zelda Twilight Princess. He's a fun guy. But yeah, thank you to everyone who's liked, followed, subscribed, given bits, all that good jazz. Thank you for checking out the YouTube and the Discord. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Raid call is Father Raid. Almost forgot that, although I think by now you probably know that. But anyway, hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care. God bless.